We have multiple Toronto Maple Leafs updates to go over today, as we have a couple updates on the Austin Matthews front, as well as some more injury updates. The injury bug continues to plague the Toronto Maple Leafs, so to break all it down ahead of tomorrow night's matchup against the Utah Hockey Club. Stay tuned for all that in this episode, but before we get into it, if you're a part of the 70% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Leafs content. If you're enjoying the daily videos, the daily double uploads as of late, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But Darius, there's a lot to go over today, and obviously there's just a lot of news coming out. We obviously discussed Nazem Kadri earlier and discussed some moves on that front, but today we're going to discuss some interesting guys, and it is most importantly Austin Matthews. We knew that he took his trip to Germany. Things were getting a little bit interesting over there, and now we have some more updates there. So let's just dive right into it. You can see this here. There's a bunch of different things, and also, yeah, shout out to the Leafs scheduler, whoever, the NHL scheduler, for not scheduling the Leafs on a Saturday night game. But Austin Matthews on 5 days in Germany. The injury flared up in the preseason, felt better, and then started getting worse. I just felt it was time to take a step back and reevaluate. It hasn't necessarily gotten worse, but it wasn't getting better. I wanted to be proactive. So, Darius, a lot more updates to go over, of course, but I just want to get your thoughts on this. We finally got some clarity from Austin Matthews himself on the injury and what has kind of kept him out and why he went to Germany specifically for this injury. What are your thoughts on this comment from AM?
Yeah, first of all, the Leafs not playing on a Saturday, I'm sure we should probably address that. That's weird. Even playing on the road would have been okay. Like, I don't know what's going on with that schedule. Like, I thought that the Leafs always play on a Saturday. It's weird that they're not playing on a Saturday. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the double upload. But yeah, Austin Matthews, very interesting. I'm not, I like the quote. I do like the quote because obviously whatever he was dealing with was not getting better, right? It's not getting worse. It wasn't going to, turn into something that was going to require surgery or anything like that. Or it's, it sounds like that at least. But he was being proactive and he was like, let me get ahead of this. Let me get this to 100% so I can continue to dominate, which he hasn't been doing this year, but he certainly did last year. So I can continue to dominate the league in terms of goal scoring and get back to playing my game. So I like that. And obviously the fact that they didn't put him on the LTIR, but rather David Camp told me that he's going to be back pretty soon, right? And he's eyeballing a return on Wednesday. So it's either going to be a Wednesday. It's going to be in Florida sometime. It could be the first game, could be the second game against Tampa Bay. So we'll see. But, he's eyeballing a return for next week, which I think is encouraging. And it sounds like it's behind him. It sounds like, whenever he was going to come back, he was going to be 100%. So it sounds like he did his due diligence. He went over, saw that doctor that he trusts. And a lot of other players have seen doctors in Germany as well. This is not something new just because it's the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. So I do like the quote here from Matthews.
Yeah, it's a very interesting quote. And again, him being able to just at least speak out and say that hasn't gotten worse. That's the biggest thing. Obviously, if it's gotten worse, then things would have gotten really bad for the Leafs in the sense of you don't want him out long periods of time, even though some Leafs fans thought he was. And I mean, again, he's not participating in the main Leafs practice today, while OEL returns after missing yesterday with an illness. So OEL seems good to go. Austin Matthews, on the other hand, again, he won't be playing tomorrow, targeting Wednesday. I believe it's against the Florida Panthers. So again, that's a big game. It would be a great game for him to return. And I'm just more curious to see on Austin Matthews once he returns, kind of just how he's looking alongside the teams. The team is playing extremely well right now. And if they continue to roll, I know if they go out and they lose the game with Austin Matthews in his first game back, there'll be a narrative started about how the Leafs are better without Austin Matthews and how everybody steps up. But I'm curious to see, how Mitch Marner does and continues to play, because he's been probably the Leafs' best player alongside William Nylander since Austin Matthews has went down. So if they both continue to actually drive play and be less passive, because we both know that Mitch Marner has been more passive, at least in the brief season stint that he's had with Austin Matthews alongside him. I'm very interested to see how Mitch Marner plays alongside Matthews, assuming and if he comes back Wednesday or later on in the week. But that's what I'm most interested to see. I know Matthews will get his goals. Obviously, it's important to see how he feels and looks as well. But I'm more interested personally in the how Mitch Marner and the rest of the team plays, especially because of how good they've been playing over the past couple of weeks.
I think that's a good point. I think when Austin Matthews comes back, I think it's going to bring a little bit of a boost to the team. I honestly think it is. And I think the whole, narrative right now from some fans saying that they're better without Austin Matthews, like they're a better team with him. He's the captain of the team. He hasn't been himself so far this season. I think we had an answer as to why. He's been dealing with something, an injury, right? So I think when he comes back, it's going to add a little bit of a boost to the team. They're going to try and play well. But I think the main thing is for the top guys like Nylander, like Marner, like you brought up, have to continue to play the way that they're playing. They cannot take a back seat to this guy and, oh, okay, Austin Matthews back, right? He's going to score all the goals. Can't do that. You can't play passive. You have to continue to play the way that you're playing. And I can't say that that was the case when Matthews was in the lineup. I saw a little bit of that, the passiveness and, Marner always looking for the pass. Even Nylander at times, I felt like there's a bit of a thing in the dressing room when Matthews plays that he's going to get us the goal. He's going to bring us to the top. But I think it's everyone. You need everyone to win. And Berube's been preaching that as well. And teams that win the Stanley Cup, you need everyone. Even Ryan O'Reilly, when he left, you have to de-emphasize the core four. That's what he said. So it takes everybody. So I think that they have to continue to play well, continue playing like as if he's not there. He's just another piece that's there to help you. So if they go into it with that mindset, they'll be fine. They'll be a better team for it. But I'm interested to see what happens when he does come back, if that mindset does shift a little bit backwards again. But I think they're a better team with him. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best players in the league. And some other things. You see Alex Nylander set to make his debut tomorrow at his first practice with the Leafs, aside, of course, from the preseason when he showed some brief stints there. It's interesting. So Alex and William Nylander both getting in work before practice. They're wearing different sweater colors ahead of Leafs practice, suggesting they'll be on separate lines. This is actually some interesting information. We suspected that maybe they'd get on the same line, on the second line, given the amount of injuries. But it seems like, I would assume Alex Nylander, that is going to play on the third line with Willie on the second line. Maybe he could also play in the fourth line. We really don't know at this point. Maybe it's more likely he plays in the fourth. I'm still kind of juggling that. I mean, I'm curious to see. We have actually a screenshot of the lines that we can dive into here. So you can see it will be the third line is what he's projected to be, because they kind of want to keep that fourth line together with Alex Steves, Dewar, and Steven Lorentz. What are your thoughts on these lines at practice today? Looking ahead to tomorrow's game, again, the second line is... boy, is it interesting. Again, Robertson, yeah, Holmberg, and Nylander, but you have Alex Nylander manning the third line alongside Gurbenkin, Minton, and Alex. So it looks like Gurbenkin and Minton will get another shot at it, and I'm really excited to see Gurbenkin play as well. So there's a lot of storylines ahead of tomorrow night's game, and it looks like Anthony Stolarz is going to get between the pipes.
Yeah, Anthony Stolarz should be back in net. That'll be fun to watch. And I think lost in all the excitement of the Marlies coming up and all these call-ups and obviously the injuries is Nick Robertson. He has to make something happen tomorrow night against the Utah Hockey Club, especially playing with William Nylander. We're going to see, how that kind of shakes out and if he gets some special teams time as well, because he probably should, considering all the injuries. So he's going to have to make something happen, because if he doesn't, then I think, the clock is starting to tick on this player specifically, because, we're approaching, we're well into the season already. So we're approaching a time here where they might have to consider moving off of him. So he's got to get something done. But in terms of the Nylander brothers, I was hoping that, because Alex Nylander plays the left wing, he might play with his brother, but I guess Berube likes to keep the handedness true to the position, so he'll be playing on the third line, on the all Marlies line, so that should be fun to watch too. They have nothing to lose. They're going to go out there, play hard, try to make a good impression, so it should be a fun game, and hopefully the Leafs win. I think it'll be fun to watch, a majority of the Marlies or some guys trying to make a name for themselves, try and beat Utah tomorrow, so it's going to be a fun game, another game where there's something to watch. It's not, I said it in a previous video a couple of days ago, it's not a game where they have the same lineup and it kind of gets stale and boring kind of midway through the season. This is something where a lot of guys are fighting to, make a name for themselves.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any boring games the rest of this year, because they're really trying to get the Florida Panthers. They're ahead of them technically. They're trying to win the division, and that's something that they're really... And again, the whole Craig Berube thing, but I want to go over William Nylander speaking out a little bit. He said 2 sons in the same NHL team is something only a couple of fathers have ever experienced. So shout out to the Nylander brothers. I'm sure his parents are extremely proud. That's a crazy accomplishment for them. So shout out to them. And again, tomorrow's game is going to be super exciting. It's going to be super fun. You get Gurbenkin, you get Minton, you get Alex Nylander, you get a bunch of guys, and most importantly, you catch the Leafs on an absolute hot streak right now, and if they can go ahead and win this one, they'll have a lot of momentum heading into Wednesday night's matchup against the Florida Panthers, and that game will be it means a lot, especially in the Atlantic Division as both teams fight for the top spot. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know down below what your thoughts are. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you tomorrow.